dancing in the flames. The people cursed his name, bowed at the altar of the father of lies. But there's a number to their days and all their evil ways. The Lord's gonna turn away from all their cries. Oh, revelation, I can feel it coming like a dark train running. Oh, get ready, 'cause the King is coming. The King is coming back again. Brimstone upon their heads, millstones around their necks. They'll feel the shaking when the trumpet sounds. And no matter where they hide, there'll be nowhere to run when Jesus puts his mighty foot on the ground. Oh, revelation, I can feel it coming like a dark train running. Oh, get ready, 'cause the King is coming. The King is coming back again. Like a lightning flash, their voice will wail and their teeth will gnash. And he'll set fire to the evil ones and all the wickedness they've done. There'll be no time to turn around as the stars begin to hit the ground and the mountains fall and the veil is torn with the sounding of that seventh horn. Oh, revelation, I can feel it coming like a dark train running. Coming back again. The King is coming back again. So wrote the prophet John before his days were done. The King is coming, and it won't be long.
Welcome, ladies and cutie Jones, to another Commander Blake stream. I hope you enjoy your time here.
There's a man on TV at a desk in a suit. He lies through his teeth and they still call it the news. And there's a man in a white coat whose medicine kills. He loves when you're sick cause you pay for his pills. There's a man at the bank who will give you a loan so that you'll buy a house and then he'll take your home. There's a man who wants you spending your life online. Knows you're searching for truth but controls what you find. We'll be fine.
Oh, right.
There's a man in a church who I really hope told me the truth. Said there's a man
in the sky
watching over me.
when you
It don't help
when
me
you can fly
it's way past
past the moon,
and there's men here on
the
the
ground, and I wanna burn down and power. No one knows the world.
I'll be the man for you. There's a man in a court sworn to uphold the law, but he's crooked as a fence post and don't do his job. There's a man in a classroom who should know the facts, but he's brainwashing kids, a man in the clouds, and I hope you're looking down, 'cause there's people here on earth who trying to put us in the ground. We'll be fine, babe, I won't let go of you. Said there's a man in the sky watching over me and you. It won't help if you can fly. He's way past the moon. And there's men here on the ground that just want to burn it down. They want money, they want power, don't want no one else around. We'll be fine, babe, I'll be the man for you.
Where is the rebel base?
Locked and loaded. It's blast! It's blast! It's blasted time! Power up available.
Hey, Dennis.
The enemy controls the power up.
I guess I'll just freaking go ahead and start saying like what I need to say right now. What people need to know is that I would never, never ever advocate for violence. Never ever, say that someone, deserves to be shot or whatever. And I need that to be known right now. I will not stand by and allow people to put words in my mouth and say things that aren't true. I'm not someone who's just gonna sit idly by and just allow shit like this to happen and keep going. A friend of mine who I know is just, he honestly believes that everything he knows and everything he says is true. And then he's like, and I'm just trying to talk to him, trying to tell him how God was the one that put Trump in office, that he is that like things in the Bible have patterns and do repeat themselves. Like for instance, Jehu. If anyone's unfamiliar with Jehu, he's in the book of Daniel. God anointed him to be the one who ends up destroying all the temples of Ahab. Ahab was an evil, corrupt king who did all kinds of heinous satanic rituals. Jehu was put in place of power. The wife of Jehu was Jezebel. What? Was he perfect or anything like that, or was he even a believer? No, not necessarily. We honestly don't have 100% understanding of where Jehu lied, but God chose him because God knew he'd be used effectively for his role. He utilized him to exercise God's will. Trump is supposed to be supposed to be Jehu in this age, tearing down the satanic temples, putting an end to Ishtar, the demon goddess of gender dysphoria. She's an ancient Sumerian goddess who says, I am a woman and a man. She's the one that's creating this whole trans shit. She's the one that's creating all this confusion. And it's all linked. It all makes sense, right? And so when I try to say things like this and try to explain this to someone like my friend who honestly thinks that Trump's it works for the devil. He knows the devil, and that the devil has taught him everything he needs to know and what to say and how to talk. And I'm like, this guy really does not know his head from his ass a lot of times. And I'm like, I've tried my best to, to help him see the truth, explain to him best of my ability. I can't. It's up to God now to deal with this, and so I wash my hands of it at this point. It's in God's hands. I pray that God will reveal the truth to him, because everything he thinks that's going to happen will never happen. It's not going to happen. And when he finds that out, I really am hoping he's going to realize that he's wrong. But at this point, it is what it is, and I'm trying to do the best I can with what I have. I know that the opportunity was opened up for me because, it was God's doing to get that going. But clearly, no matter how hard I tried or with whatever kind of forms of logic I was utilizing, it was not getting through. So I want to say and state on video record, I would never, ever advocate for the shooting and murdering of anyone innocent. Now, what Christ said to his disciples before he was arrested and crucified, that you're going to need to sell your cloak, to go and sell cloak and get yourself a sword. So that way you're prepared for those that would want to lie in wait and kill you. That want to commit harm against you. That's called utilizing something in the form of self-defense. For those who are lying in wait, like the snare and the prowler, waiting for their prey to devour. The modern day version of that is a firearm. Just because you carry a firearm doesn't mean that you're going around killing people indiscriminately. If someone is going to commit harm to you, your friends, your loved ones, your property, the Second Amendment states we have that right. And the Second Amendment is biblical. Because the Second Amendment means we have the right to self-defense. The right to protect ourselves against those that want to commit harm against us. Now, is it a shame that we could potentially lose someone that could be saved? Yes. But if you make that bed, you have to lie in that bed. You reap what you sow until you manage to repent of your actions. But if you don't repent of your action up to the moment you die, you're done for. I needed to get this stuff out. I needed to get this said because I don't want somebody to stumble upon something and think that I advocated that when you can't read the chat history because that's just the way Twitch works. It's just you can't read chat history. And I'm like, and I don't have any other way to prove my innocence in this situation other than to talk about it. God says that as one of his commandments to not murder, meaning killing of innocent people. But he never said anything of not having self-defense, not to be able to protect yourself against someone who wants to try to harm you or kill you, your friends or your family, do harm to your property, kill a pet. You have a right to defend anything and everything against anyone that wants to commit evil against you. That's how these things work. And so, with that, I believe I've said as much as I can about that situation. All right. Anyway, Des, I'm doing good. I'm doing just fine. But yeah, I'm not gonna just tolerate somebody putting words in my mouth, saying and making me sound like I'm saying things when I never said those things. I despise people that want to bear false witness against thy neighbor, put false testimony and false witness reports into someone's fucking mouth. It's not right. To think that you're right about everything, and then all of a sudden, start throwing things around as if you're like, that's what you're getting from this? That's what you're thinking? That's where your line of logic goes to? It sounds like you're the most delusional person I've ever met. Because there's no way you should logically, be thinking that way. Yet, That's how the line of thinking was going.
And then I will have the E-Web cannon fire. Long live the Empire!
It's frustrating, but what can you do? Other than to, stand up. Yes, they will. Yes, they will. Kim Clement is a famous, well-known pastor who's basically been granted the spiritual gift of prophecy. And Gabe Perot, I just watched this video on it, showing how back in I think it was 2011, something like that. And he prophesied that there would be a woman that God has anointed and placed a crown upon her to create this huge revival in this country. And the woman that he was referring to was Charlie Kirk's wife. Prophecy being fulfilled as he said it then, it's now come true. He also did a prophecy about Trump, which I would just suppose had also come true. I think you meant to say Christians, not Christmas, but okay. I don't know if that was autocorrect or what, but that's kind of funny. It was like, oh, Christmas instead of Christians. Okay. Interesting. But yeah, no, I mean, shit. If you want to come at us and come after us Christians, then we have the right to defend ourselves. You want to come at us, you have a right to be shot. Because you're advocating death and violence to us. You're the ones that are advocating. One YouTuber says we should be gutted. Have our entrails be, exposed to everything awful everywhere. Others are advocating that we should be shot, killed, hung, beheaded, so on and so forth. With all these fucking things that they're saying over and over and over again about us Christians, about the right, about conservatives, about those. I mean, you couldn't be more demonic and depraved and been given over to a debased mind and see the evidence of that than you do now in this day and age. God revealed, shit, the wickedness cannot be hidden. The truth, those that remain secret and remain hidden will always be revealed in the light. The truth will always come out, no matter how hard you try. The wickedness cannot hide or deceive anyone any longer when it's finally out in the damn open, Hey, Worms, thank you for that. Appreciate it. Thanks for the follow. Ow. And so, you're not supposed to, and here's the thing, you're not supposed to bear false witness against thy neighbor. Yeah, that's exactly what the left is doing. They're calling us fascist, Nazis, pieces of crap. We all deserve to be killed, and I'm like, you know what? Every single one of you deserve to be tarred and feathered for treasonous crimes against America. That's my 2 fucking cents. We should bring back tar and feathering. It is a gruesome way to go because you're putting boiling hot tar over a person and then putting feathers on them. But you know what? It sent a message back in the day during the times of the founding fathers. It sent a message. I'm just saying, if we want to go about certain things, there's certain things we could do. We could go back to. We could implement. But that's not the way we're supposed to be going about it anymore. There was a time and place for everything. Now, it's a time where we pray. We don't advocate for violence. We pray. The left goes when fucking George Floyd got killed, they ended up scorched earthing everything, burning businesses, going ape shit, going to this and that, committing all kinds of heinous fucking crimes against America, making themselves terrorists. I don't know why the hell no one did anything about that. They just allowed them to run around, they're peacefully protesting while shit's burning, getting destroyed, and causing millions upon millions of dollars in damage. That's not peaceful protesting. That's called being a terrorist. supposed to protect our country against those foreign and fucking domestic. Every fucking time, everyone seems to forget about the domestic part, and that includes law enforcement. Law enforcement are also going against the Constitution of the United States. They're completely going back against the oath they swore, their hand on a Bible to God, that they would uphold the Constitution of the United States, who God had ordained to be the supreme law of the land. Even the founding fathers, who were, not all of them were even Christians, most of them were atheists, but even they understood the importance of the Bible and God's word. Even they weren't fucking stupid enough to not fucking implement that, right? They weren't dumb enough. They understood that. Even though they were atheists, they understood the importance of God and Christianity. That's the reason why we are a Christian nation under God. So, you know, and so you got all that crap going on. And then you got this and that, and it's like, and I'm like, I can't do this anymore. What happened to Charlie Kirk and what's going on right now, God has created and lit a fire under every single Christian in the world. Every single person in this world has had a fire lit under them, because we know we lost a shining light, a beacon of hope, and it was snuffed out because the devil thought, oh, this will be funny, this will be great, let's just take his ass out. And he uses this kid to take his ass out. And now, guess what? God's the one laughing on the other side. Why? Because he's not dead. Charlie Kirk went home to where God is. He is now, he's in the temporary holding place of heaven, basking in the presence of God. It's amazing. That's the hope that we have in ourselves. We can Lucifer can kill us all he wants. He can do whatever he wants to try to silence us. I should have died 2 times in my life. First time I was 10, got T-boned by a minivan. I did a somersault off my face. I should have snapped my neck in that moment, but no, the guardian angel flipped me on my feet in midair. While I had a gnarly road rash, I managed to avoid snapping my neck. The second time was back in 2017, when I went head first through my 93 Ford Explorer's windshield. Because a demon was causing me to act up and not be in the right sound mind while pulling a camper, only 6 months of driving under my belt, and I'm not thinking clearly or rationally. I'm acting like an absolute fool, and I'm driving down the road, and all of a sudden, the camper I'm pulling, after I drove through a downpour, to go pick it up, and it was super windy afterwards, and so the combination of high winds and going 70 miles per hour, I was fishtailed off the road, hit a fence, got ejected from the vehicle. I should have died, but I didn't. God saved me from that, because my time was not yet up. I have a reason to be here, and I have a reason to be doing what I'm doing. This right here, streaming. This is my ministry. This is my job. This is what God has called me to do. This is what I'm trying to do. And I'm trying to be the good and faithful son and servant of God. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm trying to do the best I can with what I have, with what I got, with what I know. God speaks through me. God is the one that helps me get the words out when I don't have the ability to always know how to get the words out, just like how he helped Moses. And believe it or not, people don't understand, Moses had a speech impediment. He had a very difficult time speaking. His words weren't able to come out like he wants them to. That's why his brother Aaron met him up halfway at Mount Zion, and then the rest of the way back, and then they basically went the rest of the way back to Egypt to talk to Pharaoh. When Moses was telling the Pharaoh what to do, Aaron spoke on his behalf. He told Aaron, Aaron told him. That's what happened. So at this point, it's just the devil thinks he won, but he's so stupid. He's so dumb. He thinks he wins every fucking time, but he doesn't win. He isn't capable of winning. He lost the moment he went against Gabriel and his army. He fell from heaven. Like a fucking star falling from heaven, all right, and crashed on Earth. And he thinks he won, and then he fully lost everything when he decided to crucify Christ. Oh no, he's thinking like, oh, I'll win, I'll win this. This will be my victory here. No, the moment he died, Christ in the book of Nicodemus, one of the forgotten books of the Bible, Forgotten Books of Eden. There's an actual book that Nicodemus wrote about two men who were resurrected alongside Christ, giving their testimony of what happened in hell right the moments leading up to his crucifixion, and right as he died, he went into hell, and what happened while he was in hell. That is the most incredible story ever. It is a very impactful thing, is it? And I do believe that it was God breathed. It was scriptural. Why? Because the two men took their thumb, did the sign of the cross on their tongue, and says, "Give us each a ream of paper." And they put them each in separate rooms, and they wrote down word for word as if they were copy and pasted to each other. Two witnesses is why God says you should always have two witnesses. They wrote down word for word exactly, not a lick was missed, exactly to the T. Word for word. They were identical. There was no inconsistencies between the two witnesses' accounts of what happened. Every single person that has ever died on earth was sent to this holy place in hell. Hell technically wasn't really hell. It wasn't a place of torment or torture. It was a holding cell until Christ was able to come and then die and then go down to hell to actually save them. That's what it means when he conquered death and took the keys to the gates of hell with him. It's because he retook the keys back from the gates of hell. He retook them, and that's how he was able to conquer death, to conquer the grave, to conquer sin. He conquered everything in that moment. And people just, they like. And yeah, churches don't fucking teach this shit. Churches don't even talk about this stuff anymore. And it actually infuriates me that there's no one out there that does this. And so this is the role that I've been given. This is the duty I've been given. And after my conversation with my friend last night, I finally said, you know what, I have had enough. I'm just like my dad when he was alive. If you push me enough, I will fire back. I will not stand idly by and be quiet. I will fucking say shit. I will talk my mind. I will say my piece. I will not be silenced. I will be, if I'm angry, it's because God's angry. If I'm talking in a way, it's because that's how God feels in this moment. And if I'm outraged, and if I'm angry, and I'm upset, and I'm pissed off, that's how God feels.
You have nothing left to teach me.
That's how God feels.
You've taken everything from me.
Because just because he's a God of love, he's also a judge and jury, executioner. Everybody forgets that when God returns, he is going to judge the unjustly. And he's going to throw them into the pits of hell. Into the pits of fire. A literal burning lake of magma, lava. Where torment and agony for all eternity. You will never be able to get freed from that. Because they will constantly keep choosing to be there than to rather go back to God. God will give, hell, that's the one thing that hell is. The eternal hell. Is that it's locked from the inside. Locked from the inside. So these are people who have willfully chosen to be forever tormented in a burning lake of magma, lava, whatever you want to put it. Because it's going to be as hot as the internal core temp of our planet. And it's going to be horrible. That is what was reserved for the devil and his fallen ones and all of their ill-gotten children that are classified as demons. What people don't also realize is that the satyrs, which are the half goat, half person, centaurs, minotaurs, mermaids, all these half person, half animal creatures were actually children created by the fallen angels. If anyone knows about the mythology of Zeus, he slept with all kinds of women, and he also slept with all kinds of animals, creating abominations. What happens when a fallen angel sleeps with a human woman? You get the Nephilim. What happens when a fallen angel sleeps has sex with a horse? They get the centaurs. Cows, minotaurs. Goats, satyrs.
there's a demonic god called Pan that the Romans worshipped. Pan was a satyr, half goat, half fallen angel. These are all demonic beings, demonic creatures created by the fallen ones through intercourse. If you don't think sexual shit's happening in the Bible, then you really aren't. Then you really are delusional into not realizing the fact that this is how these things work. This is how these things came about. I mean, shit. Lucifer Lucifer and the ones that he took, and the third of the angels he took down with him, came down to earth and took for themselves a human wife. And they gave birth to heroes of renown, the great giants of old, the Nephilim. It is written plain as day there. Also, Bigfoot, Sasquatch, he's one of them. He's one of the abomination creations of the fallen angels. That's the reason why you should never, ever try to go and find them. You should be leaving them well enough alone. Because Bigfoot is a demonic being creature, just like the centaurs, the minotaurs, and so on and so forth. The only reason why we don't see centaurs, minotaurs, and all this stuff anymore is because archaeologists have probably found the skeletons and bones, but the deep state government portions of things hid them away in like some place like the Sumerian, the Smithsonian Museum, buried them so that no one can know the truth about the Nephilim and all of them. And yes, these things have been found. They have been told to put them outside in this thing, and then they took them over to like a secret hidden place, like Indiana Jones's Area 51, where they opened up this big place and you see this huge warehouse of like boxes full of shit. That's exactly what they did with it. They have this huge bunker full of shit that proves the Bible 6 ways to Sunday, and yet they don't want that shit to be known, to be made world public. They don't want that to be known, even though we've discovered the giant skeletons, we've discovered centaur skeletons, and so on and so forth. These things are real. These things have happened. These things have been discovered. Archaeologists can't talk about it because they've been slapped with a gag order. If you say anything about this, then we will kill you and your family, essentially. Which was no different than the same fucking crap they pulled during, the Roswell incident and the fucking 9/11 incident, where men in black showed up saying, "Hey, you say anything about this, we will take care of you and your family personally." It's all because the devil works through these organizations and wants the truth to be hidden so that way he can keep deceiving, keep tricking everyone into believing that the Bible is a myth instead of an actual historical book. It is a true historical book. The Bible cannot be feuded. It cannot be denied. It has been proven to heaven and back. It has been proven 6 ways to Sunday. It is impossible to say that the Bible is an inaccurate thing. It is fallacy, foolishness, ignorance, and stupidity. It is idiocracy at its finest. You cannot disprove the Bible. And it has been proven that anyone implements anything from the Bible, including the 10 Commandments, can see their lives greatly improved. They are so much better for it if you implement anything in the Holy Scriptures. That's just a plain fact. Charlie Kirk said just as much. This is he's explaining why he's a Christian, why God is his personal, why Christ is his personal Lord and Savior, is because, everything I just said basically, that the Bible's been archaeological evidence has been proven that Christ, that the greatest miracle is the creation story, and then so on and so forth, and like everything I've stated already, he has already said this. So it really isn't all that complicated or hard to understand. And now people are able to see with their own eyes the evil wickedness that the devil has gone and done with the left. The evil, horrible wickedness that is in our country. The rot that is there. The poison that has poisoned the minds of the young. That have twisted and shaped everything into this nasty, horrid, gnat ball of disgusting nastiness. We are all evil, wretched people. We're all capable of what they're capable of. But we are sanctified through Christ. We are saved from Christ. We have the same abilities to do what they're doing, but we have Christ to help temper us, to keep us from going down that path. And there'll be an ad here in like 5 seconds, so I'm going to pause here real quick. Yeah. I knew it was going to happen. I just didn't know how. Oh wait, you're able to still hear me, right, Dennis? Even though they're because yeah, like a minute and 30 seconds left. But remember correctly, you're still able to hear me, right? Even though the ad's going, unless I'm mistaken. Wow, that's interesting. I guess I don't get it, but all right. But yeah, no, thank you. I do appreciate those words. And yeah, no, I'm like, see, I'm somebody who's got the patience. I'm like God in that way, where I have the patience, I have that grace. But if I get to a certain point where I reach my boiling point, and then it's like, well, pff, there goes the cap. Let the volcano erupt. I can't do it anymore. I don't bottle up my emotions. I reserve myself until, you know what? I've had enough. Enough's enough. I've had it up to here with this shit. It's time to fucking say what I have to say. Say my piece. Nothing's more aggravating and more frustrating than people wanting to spell. Take something that you're trying to tell them, twist it, and then make it sound like you're the one saying it. That's the devil's way of working. It's wrong. I mean, even God has a point. Remember, like, eventually grace is going to come to an end, and then it's the judgment. Welcome back, everyone, from the ad. We are commanded by Christ to speak truth and only truth, to spread the word, to spread the gospel. This is what God has called me to do. I always felt at some point that I was being called to become a pastor, just like my dad was, and that's why I inherited his church, which was an online church. It's just a name. It doesn't have a physical place, and it's called the Covenant Church of Yahweh. But you know, then that's really simple. But just because I've inherited it doesn't mean I can't call myself a pastor. So basically, all I'm doing is I am being a minister. I am evangelizing. I am doing my part in that type of place of position, because at some point somebody's got to say something. Someone's got to stand up and say, you know what? Here are the facts. Here's the truth of the situation. I'm sick and tired of people thinking that it's okay to be this, that, and the other thing when the Bible clearly states against it. People who read the Bible and say that the Bible doesn't say that, there's something seriously fucking wrong with your Bible. It must mean that you're reading a completely different doctrine, which God said, if anyone preaches anything than what my God, than the word I had breathed out, that is a false doctrine, a doctrine of demons, and you should not ever listen to anything they have to say. Because that will lead you down the path that you're already witnessing the evidence of. Their fruits, you should know them by their fruit. Well, the fruit of the left is kill, steal, destroy, destruction, murder, mayhem, chaos. The fruits of the right: peace, patience, love, kindness, gentleness. Gee, I wonder what fruits are referring to what? Fruits of the wickedness versus fruits of the fruits of the Spirit. There you go. And it's not hyperbole. You can't be hyperbole. It's not hyperbole anymore. It's not this or that or anymore. It's impossible to hide what is going on when it's clearly in your face, and it's finally hit it has hit the max tipping point. And like on a roller coaster ride, it's hit the peak, and it's now off the rails, going down the loop, swirling swirls, so on and so forth. It is hit that peak, and it's gone down. It is off it's off now. Off it goes. There goes the roller coaster. That's it. There's nothing more we're going to do. Charlie Kirk's. What happened to Charlie Kirk? The only reason why it is the way it is because he was a Christian conservative who debated people at college campuses. He has actually brought many to know Christ. He has done a lot of huge evangelistic work. He was the biggest, greatest light of our time, and the devil decided to snuff it out. And now it is up to the rest of us to pick up that mantle, even though it is a heavy weight to bear. It is ours now to bear for him because he isn't able to bear that weight anymore. He went home. He's now in the presence of our Heavenly Father. He's getting to experience the incredible joy that you get to have while in heaven. It's amazing. And I feel bad for his family. I feel bad for his wife. I lost my dad right before I turned 13. My dad died of cancer, Tay-Sachs syndrome, and a slew of other health problems that he's had for a long time. And he was 52, almost 53 years old. So, I know what it's like to lose a father. I know what it's like to feel his absence. And I can definitely say I was the oldest one in my family. I was 12, almost 13. I have 4 younger sisters. So if you can understand how that is, even my younger sisters, and I were just not having an easy go of it. We were still having a hard time trying to figure all this out. And then the government had been planning to take me and my sisters away from my parents for a long time because of what my dad preached, what my dad was talking about, and the people he hung around. Just because my dad went to right-wing groups, does that mean that they're not human beings that need to be taught, that need to have the word preached to? It doesn't mean that they aren't people that need, they're Christians. They're Christians too. They're people too. But even if they may seem a little bit extreme, and we may not agree with what they say, you don't see the right-wing groups doing what the left wing is doing. I've seen KKK. I've seen the KKK rallies, right, on YouTube and stuff. And you don't see them rioting, looting, pillaging, raping, killing, murdering, anything. You're not seeing them do that. They're doing what's called a peaceful protest. You see the left-wing people throwing piss bottles, bombs, rocks, even shit at them. Biological warfare is being thrown against them. So, even though I don't agree with the right-wing groups, does not mean that I support what the left-wing are doing. My dad was the same way. He was not a part of any of those groups. He didn't associate himself he never said that he was a part of any such group. But my dad believed in the Constitution. He believed in America. Why? Because he was a Vietnam veteran. He was a person who was drafted and was in Germany for the 4 years of his term. And when his term ended, he was blessed by God to not set foot in Nam. He actually spent his entire 4 years in Germany. I have the photos and the postcards from when his time was there. I'm actually so happy I get to be blessed to have that. But I have a grandpa and his brother both joined the military. My grandpa joined the Marines. I don't remember what my grand-uncle Dave did, but they were both Vietnam veterans. My dad's dad, my grandpa, was a Korean veteran. I have military veterans in my family. And I can say, without a shadow of a doubt, that my dad was trying to do the best he could with what he was taught, with what he had. Even he said he wasn't perfect. When he was on death's bed, when he collapsed in the airport, and he was flown to the hospital, I could barely hear his voice. And so my mom had to bend over the bed and hear what he had to say. And he said he was sorry for not being a better father. He was sorry that he couldn't have done better. And, you know, and it's just, fuck. And it was so hard for me to understand or grasp because I was just standing there dumbfounded while my sisters were crying, my mom was crying, but I'm just standing there not knowing how to feel. I felt numb. And then from that day, 3 months later, my dad finally passed away and went to go see God. I know he's in heaven. I know he's in heaven because I asked God to have a moment where I can actually have closure with my dad. And so in the spiritual realm, I was in this like bachelor pad type of like hotel room type of situation. I hear a knock on the door. I go over to the door. I open it up. And there's my dad. I got to see my dad. And so we embraced each other. We were, and you know, we sat on the couch and we just basically enjoyed each other's company. And then that was the end. That was the end of that little bit. So I got to have my closure. I got to have that moment with my dad. Just because he wasn't perfect. He was still a Christian man. He grew up in a broken home. His mom cheated on her first husband. She married 2 other times. Probably, and it wouldn't surprise me if all 3 of his fathers, if not the 2 stepdads, were very abusive to him. So he grew up in an abusive household. And so, you know, it's like my dad tried everything to get us to understand. Like, he tried disciplining us with a belt, which is what you're supposed to do. He tried all the normal things he tried to do, like, which is like grounding, you know, this and that and the other thing. And he's tried all these different techniques. And when he asked me, like, what am I supposed to do? Why do you keep doing these things? What am I supposed to do to get you to understand? And I was like, I don't know. Because I didn't know how to express my feelings. I didn't know how to express my thoughts. And so, you know, there's that whole, you know, mess of situation right there. I grew up in a broken home. But it was still a home. And I felt that everything started going south and started getting worse from, you know, in my childhood when we left Oregon and moved away. That was my personal feeling and / take on it. But my dad couldn't have started his ministry had we not moved. So us moving inevitably caused him to become a pastor and a minister. But because of that, I got to see him less. He was traveling more. He was going to places, you know, being a pastor, you know, going to, you know, to these different, you know, locations and, you know, and talking to people. He had an internet radio, basically before YouTube really was a thing. He had his own website and everything, and he would type everything out on Microsoft Word, and then he would read it out. And what was really funny is he took a metal clothes hanger, and he fashioned it around his neck, and then he made it to where this microphone that he had hooked up to this to this karaoke machine, kind of like a karaoke machine. I'm not quite sure what it was exactly, but you know, he had it right here. So this way, so he could talk with a mic hanging right here. You know, doing his sermons, and then he had this cassette thing where you can actually take one master tape and make 5 copies. And so that's how he created his tapes. I have his tapes. I still have his VHS tapes. I would like to get digitized because, you know, cassette tapes, they can get dusty and stuff, and then, you know, and it's not as nice as if you could like put it on a DVD. I mean, put it on a CD, you know, and actually have that more because that's more preserved. Anyway, so there's a little bit more of my testimony, a little bit more of my backstory. But yeah, no, like, and so my dad was called to be a pastor, and I inherited his church, and I'm trying to be a pastor, but I can't be a pastor unless I fulfill all the requirements of to become a pastor. You got to be 30 years of age. I'm 32. I need to be married, and I need to have my household in order, which means I need to have children who are well behaved. And so, you know, it's not easy. So I'm missing the next 2 parts of the requirements of pastorhood. And you know, so anyway, But yeah, no one's perfect. We're all sinful, horrible, evil, wretched people that need God. I can't remember his name. He was a back in like I think it was the 1600s, maybe early 1700s. I'm not sure, but he was a white American who was enslaved by this Nigerian queen. I believe it was Nigerian. And when he was finally freed, he started shipping slaves to America. And then he finally found out just how wrong this was. And, because you got to remember, America was the country that abolished slavery. It took a little bit longer here in the States, but we were the ones that sent our Navy out to go fight against the Islamist people who were the ones behind the slave trade. They were the ones behind the slave trade in Africa and Europe. And it wasn't just the black Africans, mind you, who were captured by the much more stronger black tribes, because the weaker tribes got taken out by the bigger, stronger tribes, right? And so you got these smaller tribes that couldn't do much, and so of course they go into slavery and they're being sold into slavery. But then people don't realize is that white Europeans were also being kidnapped and thrown into slavery too. It wasn't just one race. It wasn't just one race, okay? It was all races. Orientals, blacks, and whites were all being thrown into, all becoming slaves. They were being thrown into the slave market. And that was because that is a part of the Islamic belief. The Islamists were the ones behind it all. And yet people want to say that the Islamists are such great people, and that, and this, that, and the other thing. I'm like, they're not. If anyone understood their fruits, you can know them by their fruits. God says this over and over and over again. You shall know them by their fruit. At what point are you going to open up and see how the Islamist beliefs were given to him, just like Joseph, the guy that created Mormonism? What happened to Muhammad happened to him. A false angel of light appeared before him saying, here, I have the new and improved doctrine that's actually the true doctrine, and this is what you need to do. And so you take these and you need to spread the word. If Muhammad had the same kind of encounter that the guy that the founder of Mormonism had, because they're the exact same story. They were both praying in a private place, and all of a sudden an angel appeared with new doctrine, saying that the current, Bible was is a corrupt piece of crap, and this and that. So I'm like, well, a spade's a spade, man. If it looks like a duck, it sounds like a duck, and it quacks like a duck, it must be a duck. Logic dictates logic. If common sense and logic go out the window, then we got what we got now, which is a fallen country, fallen to the ancient gods of old. One of them being Ishtar, the other one being Baal, who, you sacrifice your children to, which are what the abortion clinics are. The abortion clinics are specifically designed to be Baal worship altars, where you take the unborn child and you sacrifice it to Baal for prosperity, for a better life, to be able to be promiscuous. That's what they did back in the freaking days of of Jehu, during the times of the judges. They were doing this shit back then. It's still going on now. It doesn't take rockets. It doesn't take you to be a rocket scientist or have some sort of high PhD or some sort of fucking college degree to understand the simple facts of things. The simplest little facts of things. It's not complicated. It is super simple, easy to understand. I've never had an issue with this. I've always found it super easy and simple to understand. It may be hard for others, but if the way I explain things, it should make sense. It should start clicking. Because all you have to do is look outside your window, look on the news, look at your social media feeds, and see the wicked, evil, demonic people spouting the rhetorics, saying how much they are celebrating gleefully over the death of a husband and a father and a man, a fellow human being. At what point did we fall that so far down the rabbit hole of depravity to end up seeing this? Well, we brought it upon ourselves. When we started taking God out of schools, businesses, with the whole separation of church and state, which is unconstitutional, by the way, because it goes against the First Amendment, which is the freedom of religion, because Christian persecution was going on back then, and Christians wanted a place to be safe from the king and anyone else in the world. So this country was founded on Christian principles for Christians by Christians. And we welcome all people of all races, nations, and creeds, as long as you eventually understand that Christianity is literally the only one true correct religion. Because guess what? Lucifer is a counterfeiter. He has created all these other religions that go farther back to like ancient Sumeria, to like the pre-flood era. They existed before the flood, and they existed after the flood. And so these religions are created by demons. And everyone wants to say, oh, we should respect all religions and all people's faiths. Like, no! God doesn't respect your religious beliefs if they're causing you to kill innocent people, if they're causing you to believe in a demonic doctrine. You are a beautifully made creation. You are a beautifully created son and daughter of Christ. Of God. God created you so that he can have a relationship with you as a father, as a friend. Lucifer saw himself and thought he was so pretty and so incredible that he wanted to become God himself, lost, fell down to earth, and now he says, you can all become gods. All you have to do is bow down and worship me. If you bow down and worship me, you will become gods yourselves. Here's the funny thing. We actually, when we are classified as a son and daughter of God, what happens when your parent dies? They have a will, right? And in that will, he leaves his children with their inheritance. What is our inheritance when God returns? To become gods like him. He is going to be King of Kings and Lord of Lords and God of Gods. But we ourselves are going to be equal in authority to God himself. We will become gods, just like God. When God returns and we get that inheritance, that is our inheritance in heaven. That is what God has granted us in his promise. And if everybody wants to say that they want to become gods here on earth, then you really are silly into believing a lie and falling into the trap of the fowler. Because the trap of the fowler is not what you want to be dealing with. God says we are supposed to live humbled. Okay, the best way I can describe it is we're living a King Arthur story. We are all King Arthurs. We started out as stable boys, but eventually we pull out the sword from the stone and then we become the kings. We become the rulers of Camelot. That is why I love the story of the story of Sword and Stone, or of Camelot, or whatever you want, whatever variations of it. I love that story. Why? Because you start as a stable boy, you pull a sword out of a stone, and you become a king. That is what our life is. The sword that we pull out to make us king is our inheritance. That sword is our inheritance. When either we die and we go to heaven, or when Christ returns and we get taken up to where Christ is in the sky, is the moment we get that sword. Our inheritance. To become kings and rulers over all creation alongside our Father, God, Yahweh. It's the most incredible thing you could ever want. It's the most incredible gift you could ever ask for. And yet, so many people want to just spit on God's gifts of the Spirit, God's promises about the inheritance of the universe, all of creation, the inheritance of all creation. People want to spit on that and say we don't want that. We want to be self-gratifying. We want to be satisfying the pleasures of the flesh and satisfying our our sinful desires here on earth. You're living through the flesh, not through the spirit then. Because you got to remember, the flesh is evil, wicked, and part of the sin condition. The sin curse condition. We are born of normal generation. Unlike Christ, who was not born of normal generation. That's why he was able to overcome his flesh far easier than we are able to. Just like Paul said, my spirit is willing, but my flesh is weak. So your spirit may be willing all day long, but your flesh will always fail you. That is why you always rely on God. If anyone's seen the movie Hacksaw Ridge, that is an incredible example of what a Christian is. The kind of faith you have to be able to save 73 or 74 lives. 70 some lives. He carried from the battlefield to the ledge and dropped them down using a rope. And because of him being a skinny guy, it should have been impossible for him to pull off the feat that he pulled off. He started on the day he got up there to the very next day. He worked all through the night. He worked, I would say, damn near 12 hours or 12 plus hours of constantly grabbing people, hauling them back, grabbing people, hauling them back, past exhaustion, past his blood-stained hands with blisters and burns and all kinds of crazy painfulness in his hands. Past the point of exhaustion. God worked through him in a supernatural way. What he pulled off was nothing short of a miracle. Desmond Doss was a true, faithful man, and he pulled off the impossible. And that's why Mel Gibson made the movie Hacksaw Ridge, was to tell a cool, true, awesome story about a Christian man who was a conscientious objector, who was the first conscientious objector recipient of the Medal of Honor, the highest medal honor, honor medal, whatever you want to put it, to ever be received, and he managed to pull it off. It's incredible. The most incredible thing ever. So I think I've reached my point of what I've been getting at this whole time. God wanted me to do this. God had me speak out with what I had to say, and I hope that it's blessed everyone. I hope that it proves my point that I would never advocate ever. I would never, ever, ever, ever advocate for the murdering of innocent people. To shoot people, to go and do that shit. I'm not a fucking deranged, debased mind demon zombie. I'm not a zombie like everyone on the left is. They have turned into demonically possessed zombies. And they're wanting nothing but absolute death and destruction to anyone who opposes their beliefs, their thoughts, their opinions. They're so butthurt. They want to, dude, at this point, you're like, should I call you a ambulance and give you take you to McDonald's to get an order of wham burgers and French fries? Because at this point, what you're seeing is what we classify as childish, bratish behavior. You're acting like a 6-year-old throwing a fucking hissy fit, except you're an adult, and you can do far worse as an adult. You can actually kill people and actually harm people and actually commit heinous crimes as an adult. Now, granted, can children too? Yes, but only if they're in a godless home where the demons can infiltrate and cause the children to be possessed. That can be a thing. That can very well be a real thing. There's not like a whole lot you can really do to stop things from happening, but things can happen. Is it rare? Yes. But that's besides the point. When people act like this, they're acting like demon-possessed zombies, where they're just constantly just wanting to gnash at you and constantly want to do you harm and to come at you over and over again. But right now, with what happened to Charlie Kirk, God is going to create an incredibly amazing, a huge, widespread revival in all nations, not just here. And the world's going to change for the better. at least for a short season, before things start getting worse again. But at least we'll be prepared and we'll be able to see what's going to unfold. I'm going to be right back after this ad because I'm also going to use the bathroom. Be right back.
Kindness, kinship, love. I've given up all chance at inner peace. I made my mind a sunless space. I'm damned for what I do. I burn my life to make a sunrise that I know I'll never see. Now the ego that started this fight will never have a mirror or an audience or the light of gratitude. So what do I sacrifice? Everything! So what do I sacrifice? Everything!
We were sleeping. I've been sleeping. I've been turning away from the truth I wanted not to face. There is a wound that won't heal at the center of the galaxy. Perhaps it's too late, but I'll tell you this. Try to wake up early and be fighting these bastards from the start. Fight the Empire.
There is one way out. Right now. The building is ours. You need to run, climb, kill. Kill. You need to run, climb, kill.
So what do I sacrifice? Everything!
We will never have a better chance than this.
We both survived the purge. My troops betrayed me. I was forced to strike them down. And I escaped. This desolate place. The darkness here. It almost took me. But I conquered it. Come! Kill me if you dare! Come! Kill me if you dare! Totally useless. I was wrong to think you could stand with me! Totally useless. I was wrong to think you could stand with me! Restore Jedi order. Oh, you poor fool. It's over! Over! Restore Jedi order. Order. It's over! Restore Jedi order. Oh, you poor fool. Jedi fell long before the purge.
Driven by our past glories, blinded by endless war. It's over. Totally useless. I was wrong to think of this. Stand with me. Totally useless. I was wrong to think of this. Stand with me.
All right, I'm back. Okay. So, I've said what I needed to say. Now let's get into some gameplay. Surprisingly, it took basically an hour for me to get through it all. God is good. Oh. Darn it. Hey, how's it going, Kobe? Oh, they're going good. I don't know if you're... I don't know when you just showed up, but I did a whole, like, hour talking about God, Bible, and other really important things. So if you want, you can... After the stream's over with, you can always check the VOD, check the VOD over. It was really, really important stuff I needed to talk about that God wanted me to talk about. So that's what I did. Yeah. It started out with me talking to a friend of mine last night, and what really annoys me is when people put words in my mouth or say that I said things when I never said them, and then, you know, and that basically that's what we classify as a false accusation or bearing false witness against thy neighbor, and so that basically lit a fire under my butt, and then so yeah. So I just, you know, that was like what kind of got me to be bold enough to talk about all of it. The stuff that I was needing to talk about, especially the things with Charlie Kirk and whatnot. And what's going on in this world and this country. You know, this combination of things. It was really good. Darn it, no. Here's the thing. I'll say this because this will help explain why everyone felt the way they did, especially someone who was a complete stranger to them. That no one knew, because not a lot of people didn't know him all that well, but it really hurt and it really hit him. He was a light in the world that that basically took on a huge weight of responsibility from God. And when the devil took him out, we all felt a wave of darkness hit us like a wave of water, like a tsunami. And basically, that's why we all felt it so much more deeply, so much more strongly, is because we felt that loss. We felt that weight hit us, and now it's up to us to take on the mantle that he took on himself, and to try to do the best we can to carry that weight, but not by ourselves, but as a whole, as a group. And that is the important thing. And so, I did explain this earlier, but I just thought it'd be helpful to explain it a little bit more now. I mean, a little bit more again. No. So yeah, anyway. He was a fellow brother in Christ. He was a father, a husband, and a human being. And it was a huge, tragic loss, but at the same time, he's in heaven. He's with his father in heaven. And that's all that matters. Is that now he no longer has to worry. I mean, have to worry about the worries of this world or have to deal with it. But I still pray for his family and hope that things will actually work out better. That God will still keep them safe and everything. Yeah, no, we are supposed. Yeah, I get that, and everyone is like that. Even God says, even Christ says, to pray for those who persecute you, to forgive those who hurt you, to live like Christ. We have to do these things. When Christ was being crucified, he says, "Please forgive them, for they know not what they do." And that's what God's telling us to do now, is to forgive him, because he probably didn't know what the hell he was doing. He was just doing something he thought was right, but clearly wasn't right. And we're all capable of what he was capable of. I mean, so yeah, righteous anger that's something that we all feel because that's how God felt about the situation. But at the same time, what the devil meant for evil, God will use for his good, for his glory, and for his, and to show how even in the midst of darkness and horribleness in this world, God can easily overcome it all and come out on the other side all the better for it. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Hate. Well, Christ said that if you have hate in your heart, you've basically committed murder in your heart. That's the equivalent exchange of that. So yeah, we can have hate and anger and bitter feelings in our heart. But that's part of the whole mourning process. When you're mourning for the loss of someone. That's exactly right. Yeah. I answered your thing in like 2 parts. That's the reason why it was the way the way I responded. The way I responded is because it was in 2 parts. Oh my goodness. Crying in the damn mud.
So, what squad are we taking?
Okay, so anybody doesn't know, getting the power up is the equivalent of like taking out 2 bots for points towards the goal.
Any chance I could use you for a mission?
This part is code.
Power up available.
In the name of the Galactic Senate,
The enemy controls the power up.
Yeah, I don't know like fucking this. Also, I like to say, fuck YouTube and fuck Twitch. I don't care for their tyrannical rules. They go against the Constitution of the United States of America, which means they created rules that shouldn't exist. The funny thing is, YouTube's owned by Google, right? Guess what their fucking slogan is? Do not commit evil. What a fucking oxymoron and a joke that is. I mean, that's a very Christian thing to say, but however, they have done nothing but commit evil against, who? Their fellow people. So yeah, YouTube can eat a big freaking pile of shit, along with Twitch, because I'm not, dude. I literally played Tom McDonald's song, for that he made for Charlie Kirk.
I'm just gonna camp the thing and we're gonna win.
And what irritates me is they muted the fucking section of the VOD. They muted the VOD.
5,
They muted that one little spot, that one little red bar.
2, 1.
GG's. They muted that one little spot on there. Oh, like he makes royalty-free music. When I start the stream out, I play Revelation by John Rich, and then right after that, let me pull it up. I play Man in the Sky by Tom McDonald. That song doesn't get muted. That song isn't, have any issues. I can play all kinds of Tom McDonald songs on here, but unfortunately, for whatever fucking reason, as soon as I play the one where it's playing, it's an homage to Charlie Kirk. No, Twitch says, fuck you. You're not gonna have that on your VOD. I'm like, you can eat crap, you slime bags. There is another platform. It's called Kick, and I believe Rumble. Rumble and Kick are the only two that don't mute your VODs. They're the only ones that, that allow freedom of speech.
I am going to end this once and for all.
The only thing is I'm streaming on Kick and Twitch. If I had the money, I could easily upgrade my Restream to where I can stream on 5 platforms total, and then I can add more to that. But I mean, I've been uploading my VODs on Twitch to YouTube, so I had a place to store them so I don't lose them, so that my editor can edit them. But I have not been able to even afford to pay my editor, so there's that. So all I got are these long VODs being uploaded onto YouTube, and it's like, well, what can I do? I can't stand it. I can't even play Christian music on my channel, which is part of my ministry stuff. It's part of the First Amendment, which is freedom of religion and freedom and the freedom use of utilizing Christian music. I mean, if that's a copyright issue, then you should go to all the fucking churches here that people let you go to and slap them with a copyright strike and tell them to stop, playing these worship songs in their fucking churches. Then, if that's the case, then that's what they got to do. Otherwise, back the fuck off and leave my ministry work alone. This is a ministry. My channel is a ministry ordained by God himself. And yes, you want to fuck around and find out. I'm so sick of it. I can't play Christian music without getting, you play too many copyright songs. Making sure that you don't get a copyright strike. I'm like, piss off. Piss off, you un-American, fascist, bigoted pieces of shit. How dare you go against the Constitution of the United States of America, which is the supreme law of the land, which was ordained by God himself, in order to allow us to have the freedoms that we have fought and died for, bled for, for the fact that we were going against the freaking tyrannical king of England. Does anyone not understand? The Star Spangled Banner, the Star Spangled Banner. That song, our national anthem. There's a reason why that song exists. Francis Scott Key witnessed the shelling of Fort Henry. Hundreds of British ships shooting 10-pounders at the freaking fort. And the only reason why the flag was like this at a crazy angle like this and was still up was patriots' bodies. If men died, they dragged them away and they kept holding that flag up until sunrise. I can't listen. Every time I hear it, it breaks my heart. And every single time, I cry because I know what the cost of this country was. I know what our founding fathers and those that fought alongside them, what they had to go through in order for our country to be a free nation under God. We are a republic. We're not a democracy. We are a republic, and it's for the people, by the people, we the people. The people are the ones that govern this land. We hire people to help us govern this land. That's why we got presidents and governors and mayors and so on. When they start no longer supporting their fellow man, that's when you have the right to bear arms and overthrow them and create a whole new system. That is directly engineered in the Constitution of the United States. We have the right to rewrite the American the way that everything is set up, so that it can't keep going. But the thing is, though, because they don't teach the Constitution in schools anymore, their people are completely illiterate and don't understand what their true rights are. They don't understand it, and then so freaking Twitch, freaking being literally Russia right now. They're being communist bastards. They don't allow you to have the freedom of religion anymore, along with fucking YouTube. And so, like, if you want to see if I have Christian music on my stream, they actually made one video completely blocked it, but all the other ones got limited. But only one video gets freaking blocked, and I'm like, why? Why? I don't fucking get it. These same songs that I'm playing through Spotify, I have a Christian playlist, are the same songs that people play in church. They play in church. I don't get it. If you want to fucking cause a huge issue and try to piss off people, yeah, go right ahead. I may be a small streamer, but God can do a lot with a small streamer. God can do a lot with a little. I'm like the man who was given 2 coins to flip around and make 4. That's what I got right now. Eventually, those 4 will turn to 8, and then so on and so forth. God will bless you and give you more. When you start out and work with a little, you'll be blessed with more. You'll be blessed with more, and you'll be blessed with more. If they had copyright, then why are they allowing them to see? Why are they allowing their songs to be sung in church? If these Christian bands had such an issue with it, then why aren't they going to the church and saying, "Hey, we don't like you playing our music in your thing because we have copyright protections on that"? It's a double standard. I don't give a flying fuck what any online digital corporation says. If we can do this shit in church, in a physical building, then we have the right to do it on a digital church online. That's fair. What I can say, though, is that Christian bands love it when churches play their songs. They love that. It means, because here's the thing, at the end of the day, just because you're listening to it on stream doesn't mean they're not going to go out and buy the damn CDs or buy the fucking vinyl records. People will still buy the physical copies because they like the music so much they're going to get the whole fucking thing. So technically, you're helping promote their music in order to get people to buy their CDs and their albums. You're not. I mean, hell, it doesn't make any fucking sense. The logic here doesn't make any sense. They're not losing money. And I actually know, and I actually had spent time with, so it was like a few years back. It's called a Merry Rockfest Christmas. I got to be a part of that, and guess who? One of the person that ran ran it with a few other bands, with a few other groups together, the Christian groups, was Seventh Day Slumber. The lead singer and creator of the band, Seventh Day Slumber, created this. I got to be part of a Zoom chat with them. I actually spent a little bit of money, and I actually have a t-shirt from that day. I actually have a screenshot of the Zoom call. And I can definitely say from what I've been, from my interactions with them, they are completely fine. Oh, I was gonna start here in a sec.
Execute Order 66.
I'm just so tired of it all, but
It's coarse and rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere.
The oppression of the Sith will never return. You lost.
Hey, Kobe, are you still able to hear me, or is there an ad on your end?
Do it.
Yeah, no.
So uncivilized.
Okay, good. I know.
Execute Order 60.
Oh, screw it. I need a smoke.
I'm ending all of this. The trees, the text, the Jedi. I'm gonna burn it down.
Well, today's Sunday. I would be playing Christian music, but oh, we're getting muted to hell and back.
Resistance is dead. The war is over. And when I kill you, I will have killed the last Jedi. Every word of what you just said was wrong. I'm gonna burn it down. The sacred Jedi text. I will not be the last Jedi.
Welcome back from the ad. Hey, yeah, you're not entirely wrong. We are not judges, but however, we can spiritually discern. We are able to call out things if God commands us to call out things. We are also, when God returns, we are going to be on the jury. We are going to be the witnesses, the jury, those who know what the devil and all the wicked ones have done. And we are going to be bearing witness, righteous witness against those when the day finally comes, when God does it. Because God is the ultimate judge. And He's going to be the one that's going to be hearing our testimonies. He's going to use us as His jury, His witness. We're going to be on the witness stand. We're going to be on the jury stand. We're going to be the ones that are going to be condemning all the things that the devil's done, along with all of his minions. So yes, you're not wrong. We're not judges, and we always keep it. And that's why we lay it at Christ's feet, and God will be the ultimate, final, gavel, where He takes His mighty judge gavel and just, done, guilty. Now for your punishment. But yeah, no, I think it's so dumb. It's a double standard. It makes no fucking sense. Like, if Christians want their music to be played in churches and want their music to get spread to those that haven't heard it, and I got a platform to share those music, share the songs, songs of worship of God and Christ and all that, then yes, we have that right. It's when these companies that create these rules and these copyright claim bastards keep coming in. They're completely going against the Constitution of the United States of America. They're completely going against the First Amendment, which is a freedom of religion, the freedom of, to express ourselves. And if this is technically classified as a ministry gaming channel, where where God is calling me to reach out to those who would never really set foot in a church, then how dare you insult me and spit in the face of God? Because it ain't right. God will make sure that it'll work out regardless of anything. Unless God says that He's giving you the right, giving you the right to do something to you, nothing can be done to you. You can't touch. You can't be touched. You can't be harmed. You can't be hurt. You can't have anything done to you unless God says it allows it to be done to you. That's why the trials and tribulations happen. And so you gotta work on your faith. You gotta trust in God will never allow anything to happen to you unless there's a good reason for it, unless it's supposed to help you grow spiritually, grow more mature, and become a much stronger person for it. I don't go to church. I have not been able to find a church that I've been satisfied with, and if that's the case, that's fine. Besides, I'm technically have my own church. This is technically it right here. I'm the one that's technically running a thing. It's weird and hard to explain because even though I'm not a pastor, I'm technically running my own little thing to the best of my ability. And that my pastor is actually DLM Christian and Men's Lifestyles on YouTube. So technically, I do go to church. It's just I have an online pastor that I watch. Now, granted, because of the events and things that have happened, he hasn't uploaded anything yet today, and I don't think he's going to upload anything today. Because if he hadn't done it already, he's probably not going to do it. But DLM is Daniel, middle name Moritz. He is a South African who immigrated to the States. It took him 5 years to finally get everything in order, and he's been living in this country for over a year now, maybe 2. I can't quite remember. And he's in California on the coast. And so, yeah, he's a really good pastor. I really like him. Everything he talks about, I agree with. He's definitely my pastor. And so, technically, I do have a church. It's an online church, so I don't have to, And I have a YouTube channel so that, I have I have a Discord server where all are welcome. And if there are people that want to join it and they want to do Bible studies, if they want to, talk about more about the Bible itself and grow more spiritually, they're more than welcome to join and do that too. The whole point of my server was to give me a place that I didn't have to worry about getting kicked out from, because I was getting tired of certain people getting annoyed at things that I would say or didn't say or whatever. And said or didn't say. Yeah, that's the right way of putting it. Yeah, thank you. Exactly. And here's the crazy thing. More people are coming to Christ after Charlie Kirk's death. More people have been a big, huge revival on campuses have been growing, and it's only the start. I mean, it started with Charlie Kirk and him bringing those to Christ, and then after his death, it is bloomed into a beautiful flower. It has gotten, and it's only going to grow far. It's only going to get bigger. It's like a wildfire that started out with a small flame, and it's now going to catch momentum, and it's going to start going like crazy. And so, yeah. Eventually, you know, we're going to see a lot more. Like, we're living in it. Okay, so for a while, we were going through all kinds of craziness. And now God's finally going to rectify and fix everything and actually start giving us this age of revival, this age of I don't know how to really, I can't think of the word right now. But an age of revival is definitely a part of it. And we're going to start seeing an age unlike we've seen in a very long time. And so it's going to be really awesome and really cool. But today I would be playing Christian music. I would be. If I didn't like the fact that the VOD would be fucking muted in sections because of the communist rule of the freaking Twitch. It's just not nice. Son of a bitch! I've been talking this whole time. I'm so sorry, guys. I forgot I muted my mic. So this is what I know. God uses me, speaks through me, talks through me, and I allow him and I let him and I do what he wants me, and I like he tells me to do something, I do it. Tells me to talk about this thing, I'm going to do it. Because in my household growing up, there was one time where my dad was, disciplining me with a belt because I did something I wasn't supposed to. And he says, when I say jump, you say how high. And I believe that's exactly how God acts. Because if anyone remembers the burning bush with Moses, Christ was the burning bush. He was known as the angel of the Lord. And with that, he basically revealed himself through the burning bush, talking to Moses about going and freeing his people. Moses had a little bit of a back talk. He was back talking God a little bit, saying like, what am I supposed to do? They will not listen to me. I can't do this and this and that and the other thing, creating these excuses. And then God, with a sternness, as if to discipline his child, said, who made man's mouth? Was it not I? Who made man's mouth? Who healed the lame, the sick, the dumb, and the deaf and the blind? Was it not I? Now go. Now this is a line from the Prince of Egypt, but it's still basically what was said in the book of I believe it was in the book of Exodus. Yeah, book of Exodus. And then right after that, gently says, you will not be alone. I will make sure that you, that when you go, your brother Aaron will meet you halfway, and you will go together, and I will be with you, and I'll be there right there beside you. Like, he won't be going alone, right? And so that's my whole take on this. The whole reason why my ministry is the way it is because every Christian needs to live like Moses did, where you need to trust in God. You need to go by faith. You need to do what God tells you. If God tells you to do something, you do it. You don't question his actions because God knows his ways are not our ways. His thoughts are not our thoughts. He knows what's better for us than we do or than what we think we know ourselves. And it boils down to just understanding that. God is a good and great, amazing Father who wants nothing but the absolute best for you. But that doesn't mean if you spare the rod, you spoil the child. He wields a rod of discipline. And if you step out of line, he'll let you know. We go through trials and we go through tribulations. We go through these things in order to temper us, in order to make us into the image that God sees us being. He's the potter, we're the clay. He's the blacksmith, we're the block of steel being forged into a sword. And we go through these processes of sanctification, which is what these are. They're processes of sanctification. A potter turning clay into something beautiful, or a blacksmith taking a bar of steel and turning it into a beautiful sword. It's all those things culminated together into this one thing, and making it all into this beautiful thing that God calls us to, and to also see our most greatest potential. We all have the potential to do great things for the glory of God and to further his kingdom if we only listen and abide by it. If God says go here, go to this place, I'm going to go to that place. If God says to do this, I'm going to go do it. There's no questioning. There's no arguing. God knows exactly what's going to happen if you do this. God knows exactly what's going to play out. And it's only going to be for your benefit and his benefit and the benefit of the other individual or individuals. There's so much to it, so much that we're only able to see what's right in front of us, right here in the now. That we can't see what the future's got in store. God can see into the future. He can see far into the future. He's omnipresent. and he is able to see things unfold before they even were unfolded. He knows exactly what you're going to ask for before you even ask it. He knows what you're going to say before you even say it.
Mandalorians are stronger together.
All we have to do is just open our ears and listen. Open up our hearts and allow him in. Screw it. I'm gonna play some Christian music right now because at this point I kind of just want to. I want to have some Christian music playing, and this is Fractured Paradise by 7 Day Slumber. There you go. So this is my playlist that I use, and it's a really nice playlist. It's Sunday. It should be Sunday worship time, in my opinion. At the end of the day, God is good. God does amazing things in our lives, and all we have to do is just hope that we end up being good enough and worthy enough to do it all. To become that good and faithful servant, the good and faithful son or daughter. Fractured Paradise.
So how can you see what your life is worth or where your value lies? You can never see through the eyes of man. You must look at your life. Look at your life through heaven's eyes. A lake of gold in the desert sand is less than a cool, fresh spring. And to one lost sheep, a shepherd boy is greater than the richest king. If a man lose everything he owns, has he truly lost his worth? Or is it the beginning of a new and brighter birth? So how do you measure the worth of a man in wealth or strength or size? In how much he gained or how much he gave? The answer will come. The answer will come to him who tries to look at his life through heaven's eyes. And that's why we share all we have with you, though there's little to be found. When all you've got is nothing, there's a lot to go around. No life can escape being blown about by the winds of change and chance. And though you never know all the steps, you must learn to join the dance. You must learn to join the
He builds or binds. Never see in your eyes on earth. Look through heaven's eyes. Look at your life. Look at your life. Look at your life through heaven's eyes.
I know the end is near, the television telling lies. I know for sure the revolution won't be televised. I know that we've been waiting patiently for better times. We fell asleep and men are blind, can't recognize it's genocide. Feel like the bomb about to drop out of the clouds. Another virus going airborne, go hide inside your house. Farmers watching crops die, they drying up with droughts. Angry people forming crowds, trying to burn the cities down. This is Armageddon, martial law for our protection. I talk to God, but it's long distance and I lost reception. Forest fires and oil spills are the awful lessons. I'm just waiting for the devil to take over heaven. This is biblical, I swear it's in the Bible. We keep killing one another and we dying for survival. We used to fight for peace, we put our flowers in their rifles. Now we're about to be extinct, every man, woman, and child.
It's the end of the world, I will do better next time. Oh yeah, I know it. Yeah, I know it. If it's the end of the world, I know that I have lived my life to the fullest. Yeah, the fullest. We stood on top of mountains. We've been to space before. We had our dogs and houses. We elbowed dinosaurs. We built those bombs are dropping. We fought in all their wars. Now that the sky's falling, what did we do it for?
Feels like the end is near, our freedom's disappearing. People playing God, call it genetic engineering. Media misleading us and evil's interfering. While the government we need became the power that we're fearing. Our billionaires are going to space, don't blame them for leaving. Birds are falling out the air, fish washing up on our beaches. This is end times, humans got a deadline. Children are the future till we ruin them with headlines. Should be past their bedtime, but everyone's woke. They told us chase a dollar that made everyone broke. I feel like cryptocurrency is probably our last financial hope. Soon enough the government will leave your bank account froze. Judgment day is coming, you can run or you can stand and fight. Panic in the dark or lead rebellions by the candlelight. This ain't your granddaddy's planet Earth, it's black and white. The end is coming, I'll see y'all in the afterlife.
End of the world, I will do
cheese, everyone.
In case anybody doesn't know, capping the power up will actually grant us 2 points, which is like the equivalent of 2 bots. If anybody can get it, we really need to use them. We can really use them. GG's, everyone. Oy vey.
those chains fell off when you changed my name. You changed my name. You changed my name from too far gone to saved by grace, and now I am forever changed, all because you changed my name. You called me out from the grave I knew, and the old is gone, now my name is new. And I once was guilty, but not anymore, 'cause you paid my price, now my name is yours. Yes, you paid my price, now my name is yours. You changed my name, you changed my name from too far gone to saved by grace, and now I am forever changed, all because you changed my name. Oh, and I don't have to answer to any name that the enemy tries to call me. No, I don't have to answer to any name but chosen child of God. Oh, I don't have to answer to any name that the enemy tries to call me. I don't have to answer to any name but chosen child of God. 'Cause you changed my name. You changed my name from too far gone to saved by grace, and now I am forever changed, all because you changed my name. It's all because you changed my name. And I don't have to answer to any name the enemy tries to call me. No, I don't have to answer to any name but chosen child of God. Oh, I don't have to answer to any name the enemy tries to call me. I don't have to answer to any name but chosen child of God.
Tick-tock, hear the clock count down. Wish the minute hand could be rewound. So much to do and so much I need to say. I was looking for some calm in the chaos, searching for some peace in the night. I was looking for somebody to hold me. I was searching for a little light. I love the word. God, you know that I went wild, but until you, nothing ever satisfied. I found rest in my Father for my weary soul. I will bless God the Father, Spirit, and the Son.
Hey, Kobe, thank you for that follow. I appreciate it, man. Oh, shoot. I got stuck. I got stuck. In case no one knows, this band's called Striper. They're based off, they got the name from Isaiah 53. You know, pierced for our transgressions, striped for our iniquities, by his wounds we are healed. They're a 1980s hair rock band. In case you're finding that cool. I'm going to tell you right now, they look a million times better than any of the 70s or 80s bands from then. Because, you know, give your soul to the devil, you age like an ugly raisin. But they have aged rather gracefully. I've seen their the pictures of the band members. Well, these guys aren't new. They've been around since the 80s. But they still keep coming out with new albums. They're still going strong, and God's blessed them greatly, and I like that. But no, that's cool. I like that. It's awesome. No, I know. I was just saying too. It was like, yeah. Yeah, cool. No, we're not winning. Guys, if we don't get the power-ups, we're not going to get the double points. Oh, you gotta be kidding. We can go stir it new. Guys, they only need 2 more to win. We need to really try to stay alive as long as we can.
Yesterday you came knocking at my door, selling me lies like every other time before. Power up available. Can't believe I let you in, falling for your tricks again. Yesterday you had me
GG's, guys.
paralyzed. 1 foot in the grave, winner of a losing fight. I heard you call me by my shame, but now I know that's not my name. I listened to you yesterday, now I need you to hear me say, not today. The father of lies will not have his way. Yesterday guilt had me digging my own grave. Sin had the final say, but not today. No, not today. The question is not will I ever get knocked down, but am I gonna let your games keep me on the ground? If you think I'm gonna just give in, if you think I'm gonna let you win, well not today. The father of lies will not have his way. Yesterday guilt had me digging my own grave. Sin had the final say, but not today. No, not today. I've been bought by a price, all my sins washed away. If you come at me again, you'll hear my defender say, I've been bought by a price, all my sins washed away. If you come at me again, you'll hear my defender say, I've been bought by a price, all my sins washed away. If you come at me again, you'll hear my defender say, not today. Not today. The father of lies will not have his way. Yesterday guilt had me digging my own grave. Sin had the final say, but not today. Not today. Oh, not today. Not today. There's a peace I've come to know, though my heart and flesh may fail. There's an anchor for my soul. I can say it is well. Jesus has overcome, and the grave is overwhelmed. The victory is won. He is risen from the dead, and I will rise when he calls. There's a day that's drawing near when this darkness breaks to light and the shadows disappear, and my faith shall be my eyes. Jesus has overcome, and the grave is overwhelmed. The victory is won. He is risen from the dead, and I will rise when he calls my name. No more sorrow, no more pain. I will rise on eagle's wings before my God. Fall on my knees and rise. I will when he calls my name. No more sorrow, no more pain. I will rise on eagle's wings before my God. On my and
Fabricator deployed.
In case anyone is unaware, capping the power-up gives you 2 bonus points towards the objective. Finally get to see what this looks like. Yo, that's so cool. Questions. For foundation, a rain that awaits, all turns away, very pain for eternity. The illusion fades, the darkness from the day. Cause I believe I'll see. Whoa, no. Whoa. Worry, I was amazed. This age, not flying in front of the other. The thing I have is a love, and
that awaits, and then all will turn away. And in that very pain for eternity. The illusion fades. Another darkness from the day. Yeah, good luck. Trying to get it now. Ah, it's mine. Only that awaits. Really pain. The other darkness from the day, and who knows as my faith, I can't believe the unseen. Well, I mean, I don't know. Now no one's gonna really talk. I mean, chat much. I'm not very talkative myself. It's just the way I've always been. I need engagement in order to talk much. Unless I have something important to talk about, then yeah. Anyway, don't forget, Kobe, to check the beginning of the VOD because I spent like a whole hour talking about some important stuff. All right, see you, Kobe.
Hey, thanks for the follow for thank you for that. Appreciate it. Can't. Trying to survive over here. I don't want to be taken out too soon. Big TRJ, thank you for that. I appreciate it. Okay, so. GG's, everyone. Oh, come on. Oh, that's lame. That is a stinky pain in the butt. Literally, just one away. I'm just one away. I need one. I need one. I just need one.
I've wasted so much time trying to satisfy a place in my heart that's made for you. I've done it my own way, but it left a bitter taste. So I keep on coming back to you. Deep down the whole time I knew the truth. Everything good.
Damn it. Dang it! You have to be kidding me. GG's.
Everything good comes from you. You know the real thing when you find it. And everything good is because of you. So obvious I can't deny it. You're the only one worth having. You know the real thing when you find it. And everything good is because of you. So obvious I can't deny it. You're the only one worth wanting to. Prepare to warp. 'Cause everything good, it comes from you. You're the well that won't run dry. Nothing else can satisfy. 'Cause everything good, everything good comes from you. Everything good.
I'm gonna be right back.
Well, it started out in a spare bedroom. 2 turntables, and a microphone. I was flipping over 33s, working on rhymes and melodies, searching for some more of you and a little less of me. It's never been my dream to see my face in magazines. It's always been about the music, hoping God would use it to set some people free. But I can't say without a doubt, I never had it figured out. Lord, you've opened every door I've stepped through.
There we go. In case anybody's unaware, the power-up grants 2 points. Oh, shit. Oh, no. I have to take care of myself real quick.
Power up available.
I know how it
You're being
started.
controlled with power up.
The walls that we built to separate us, they get wider and stronger till it's too tall for us to touch. Heaviness is on me. I don't see. We might be hoping. We might be better off in the wake of a bitter end. Oh, I know I'm on the rise again. Set my sights on where I'm going, and my goodbyes are where I've been. Oh, I know I'm gonna rise again, singing farewell, king of the broken. So long, my friend. We could always count the same things, the ups and the downs like time. We crawled through the abyss, then came to the other side. Heaviness is only temporary. The daylight is soon breaking. Some like to change heart.
Oh, my goodness.
You're being controlled with power up.
I can feel that coming on strong. We'll never start all over like this, and I still can't believe. Oh, I can see us moving on. I can feel that coming on strong. We'll never start all over like this, and I still can't believe it. Oh, I can see us moving on. I can feel that coming on strong. We'll never start all over like this, and I still can't believe it. Oh, I can see us moving on. I can feel that coming on strong. We'll never start all over like this, and I still can't believe it. Oh, I know, yeah, I'm gonna rise again. Set my sights on where I'm going, and my goodbyes are where I've been. Oh, I know, yeah, I'm gonna rise again. Singing farewell,
Oh, come on.
my friend.
Allies are close to victory. Enemies are close to victory.
Earth to God.
Power up.
Coming
The enemy controls the power up.
know you're there, hearing our prayers wherever you are. We need you now to send your love down. Take away the pain you know we ask this now. We need your light, we need your love to heal the world you made. And save us now in our darkest hour with your amazing grace.
Far out, man. I really freaking hate it when people just. Ugh. Alright, that's fine. Damn it, it disappeared. Damn it. GG's, everyone. All right. What the actual hell, man? What? It's like weird. Okay. Bizarre. Well, that's not working out like it's supposed to. That's still not correct. Man,